Manga-Waido.
My name is Yutaka Shimazaki, 31 years old. I work as an intern at a university hospital in Tokyo. Today I was in a certain prefecture to attend an academic conference. I was exhausted after a long presentation and dinner meeting, so I decided to ask for a massage at the hotel I was staying. But, to my surprise when I called for a massage, Aoi?
Yutaka?
It was my ex-girlfriend, Aoi Layama. No, wait, this can't be. Why are you here?
You too.
I'll be honest, it was pretty awkward. When I was younger, this woman played me, pushed me around, and left me. When I first met Aoi, I was still a student at a welfare college. She was beautiful and the daughter of a wealthy family, but she never flaunted her wealth. At first, she was a nice, normal girl. I fell in love with her and confessed my feelings. It was good until she went out with me. After about a year or so at some point, Aoi became a different person. Gambling, host clubs, bar hopping, she began to play lavishly in ways that were unthinkable before. She asked her wealthy father for money every day and spent it like she had a grudge. I was her boyfriend, but even I couldn't understand her and couldn't keep up with her change. I couldn't understand how Aoi was able to make a fool of herself every night with a bunch of people she didn't even know. But I saw an indescribable emptiness behind her eyes as she repeatedly played around. Aoi was not really enjoying herself. Thinking that, I tried to persuade her to stop her reckless behavior. But, Aoi, listen to me!
Leave me alone. Let me do what I want.
Everyone's worried about you.
You yell when you don't like it. You're just like the rest of them. What a boring guy. Will you get out of my face already?
In the end, she got in a bad mood and left me.
Hey, Yutaka, don't daze around.
I come to my senses.
Do you want a massage or not?
Oh, yeah, please do. But why did you become a masseuse? What happened? Aoi didn't answer. She came into the room with an awkward expression on her face, but put down her bag and began to get ready. Aoi's work was so meticulous, I couldn't believe it. My mind seemed to unwind along with my tired body, and I was mesmerized. Perhaps my pleasant feelings were conveyed to the hands that touched me. I could see Aoi was also gradually relaxing as she worked.
After I broke up with Yutaka, my parents cut me off. Remember? I was being reckless, wasn't I?
That's what happened. Aoi stopped playing around and went to a vocational school to acquire qualifications while living on her own. She earned her tuition and living expenses by working part-time. She happily talked about all the wisdom she had learned through her frugal lifestyle. No wonder, I thought. Aoi, who had learned a lot of hardships in this way, had become much more mature than she had been in the past. So, let me ask you again, why did you become a masseuse?
When I was little, I used to give massages to my parents and they praised me a lot. Well, that's about it.
I might be able to ask her now, I thought. Why, after all this time, did she keep playing so recklessly? And on top of that, leave me.
I got a little illness. I got kind of desperate. I just didn't care anymore.
An illness? She didn't tell me that before. But then Aoi's attitude hardened again and he stopped talking to me. She stopped talking. Aoi, who never seemed to be enjoying herself even though she was playing around a lot, she was fighting the fear of illness alone. Without knowing that, I resented her for abandoning me. When thinking about it, Aoi's breathing became heavier. She suddenly began to gasp in pain. Aoi, hey, what's wrong? I jumped out of bed and held Aoi's shoulders as she fell. Aoi painfully pointed to her bag. When I handed it to her, she pulled out a pill and drank it. This medicine. Aoi in pain finally collapsed to the floor. Are you okay? I called the front desk and had them call an ambulance. When I held Aoi's wrist to check her vitals, I was stunned. But there's no pulse! The next day I went to the hospital where Aoi was admitted. Aoi was sitting up in bed.
I'm sorry I put you through that. My illness, it's not completely healed. Well, from the outside, I look healthy, so people don't believe me very often.
Could it be Takayasu arteritis?
What?
Aoi's eyes opened wide. Looks like I was right. That medicine, prednisolone, is a steroid that relieves inflammation of blood vessels.
Yutaka, are you a pharmacist now?
No, I'm a doctor. I actually changed my career path and chose to become a doctor, partly due to the frustration of being abandoned by Aoi. Takayasu arteritis is also known as a pulseless disease. I was right. Takayasu's arteritis is a common autoimmune disease that causes inflammation of the aorta and other parts of the body, and is most often seen in young women. It is an intractable disease with an unknown cause and is designated as a specified disease by the Ministry of Health. It is a very troublesome disease that causes complications in various organs and tissues in the body. And as she said, it's difficult to notice from the outside. Even if you see a doctor, they may not be able to diagnose it for a long time. It's a scary disease because it isn't well known. Depending on the severity of the complications, it could even lead to death. Aoi was born with a weak heart. I wasn't told that at the time, but if this chronic illness is combined with Takayasu's arteritis, it could be life-threatening. Last night, I remembered something. Aoi, when you and I were dating, you were taking some pills.
You remember? I've been doing well for a long time, but the last few days I've been having these sudden heart palpitations.
The effect of the prednisolone is temporary, and once the inflammation subsides, it will eventually flare up again. I'm sorry I didn't notice. Aoi laughed when I apologized, saying that I would have to be a psycho to notice that. At a later date, I got in touch with Aoi again and called her up to the hotel cafe. You've been battling your illness alone all this time, haven't you?
Why so serious? You're overreacting.
Aoi laughed but didn't deny it. Her reckless youth must have been her way of resisting her incurable disease. I made up my mind and started to speak. Hey Aoi, will you give me another chance? I want you to go out with me again.
What?
I think I can be more in tune with your feelings now.
Are you an idiot? Why would you want to start over with someone like me?
Aoi covered her face and started to cry. I got up from my seat and hugged her. A year later, I proposed to Aoi. We're gonna have the wedding next year. She still doesn't know that I invited her parents to the wedding.